Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to be showing you how to build this large survival house in Minecraft. Now before we get started with the tutorial here, I do just want to show you guys around the entire build. I would hate for you to spend loads of time building this and end up not liking it. So before we start placing any blocks, I want to show you all parts of this build in its entirety. That way you know what you're getting yourself into. So this house has 4 floors in total. The bottom one is in fact the basement, where we have a 16 furnace super smelter, as well as 2 additional smaller smelters for the blast furnace and smoker. We also have a little setup here for a spare set of armor that you can keep on standby. Going up a level, we have the storage floor, which is fairly self-explanatory. It's just a load of chests scattered about the room. The next level up is the bedroom. Now this floor isn't quite as utilitarian as the other 2. Most of the additions to this room are purely decorative, but we do have some helpful items such as a bed, always comes in handy in survival, as well as a little bit more storage and also a brewing setup. The 4th and final floor is where we go to do our enchanting. We have a full level 30 setup here so you can get maximum enchantments, and we also have a few other helpful items out on display such as a smithing table, cartography table, grindstone, some anvils, and not forgetting a loom, as well as even more storage, which is always handy. There is actually one more secret room at the very top of this tower, but there's nothing inside of it. It's just a cool lookout spot. If you're building this in survival, which I'm assuming you are considering it's a survival house, you're going to want to check out the description down below for a full materials list of every single item that we're going to be using today. Quick disclaimer before we get started here, the video is so very long because this is a highly detailed build and I'm going to be showing you every single block being placed down, so you're not going to be in the dark for any of it. I'm going to show you every single step. This is the outline for the foundation of the build. Of course, you're not going to be using concrete blocks. Those are just there so you're easily able to count how many there are and not get the measurements wrong. You're going to be placing down stone bricks instead. So once you have that outline done out of stone bricks, you can go ahead and add 2 more layers on top of it. So when you're all done, you should have these 2 layers above the floor and then 1 in the floor itself. So now we can go ahead and grab some stone brick stairs and walls as well as the full blocks, and the first thing we're going to do is come to the front side here. This is going to be kind of like the main entranceway on this spot, and come to this corner and we're going to place a wall and a full block. Then we're going to come around to this side right here and we're going to place in 2 full blocks and a stair right there. And then over on this spot, we're going to have a full block and 2 stairs. So with that alteration, it should look like this. So as I said, this is going to be the main entranceway just to the side of that wall we placed down. So we need a little bit of a staircase to get up to it. So we're going to start by placing in 3 stairs like that with some full blocks above it and some full blocks underneath. Chicken has joined us for this part apparently, but then we're going to have some stairs curved round like this in front of those full blocks, and then the same again up here on this spot. So we should end up with a staircase that looks like this. You should be able to see through all the way to the other side. There is going to be another staircase and entranceway round this side over here, so on this 5 block wide gap. And then what we're going to do for this is break the block in the middle, replace it with a stair, and very simply we're going to do the curved stairs around again, so we can very easily walk up and go inside. The next step is to take the floor down by 3 layers. So all of the blocks that are inside of the stone brick outline we have just go down by 3 blocks. Once you've got your hole dug, we're going to come over to this part right here where there is a 3 block gap with 3 blocks either side of it. So on the left hand side of the build, and we're just going to fill in this wall completely with stone bricks, just like that. Then we can turn around, and over on this right hand side corner, we're just going to place in 5 blocks all the way up. So 5 blocks there and 15 blocks there. And now you can go ahead and replace all of the dirt in the walls with stone bricks. With your walls complete, you can now clamber out of the hole and come to this spot right here, where we're going to break these 2 blocks next to those stairs and replace them with 4 stone bricks. Then we're just going to take this layer of grass down by a block, and then we're going to place some stairs on the back of that block right there. Then we're going to do the same with these grass blocks, add another line of stairs, and then do the same thing once more to get us down to this level, where now we can go ahead and get rid of these 12 blocks. And what we're going to do is place down 2 upside down stairs facing into each other and a slab in the middle for a bit of an archway. And very simply, all we want to do now, just get rid of all of the dirt blocks in the walls and replace them for stone bricks, just like, bear with me here, that. The next step is to add in our windows, so we're going to grab our iron bars and some stone brick stairs, and starting off at our staircase, we're going to get rid of these 2 blocks right here, upside down stair on the top and iron bar on the bottom. Then we're going to come around to the right hand side and just break the 3 blocks that are in the middle here. Of course, iron bars with the stairs on top, so it should be 4 blocks either side. Then we're going to come around to the back of the build and we're going to go in by 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block we're going to break 3 in a row. Do the same on the other side, so go in by 4 and break those 3. You should have 2 in the middle. Lay out our iron bars and our stairs once again, and then there's just one more window placement we need to do, which is all the way around here on this side right here. So these 5 blocks, we're going to break these 4 right here, iron bars and stairs. So that's all of the stone bricks we're going to be placing down for now. There's going to be a couple of tweaks later on, but only very minor things. So now we can go around and mix in all of our texture with our cracked stone bricks and the site as well as our stone. Whilst we're down here, we may as well change out the floor, which is going to be a combination of deep slate and cobbled deep slate. So if I just give you a little bit of a sample section here, let's just carve out this area, let's say. I'm going to go around first and just mix in my cobbled deep slate, not really thinking too much about it. That's fine. Then I'm going to go around with my regular deep slate and place it on the bottom of the block so we get this texture on show. And then on the remaining blocks, we're going to place it on the side so we get this texture instead. That way we've got a combination of all 3 and we end up with a nice textured deep slate floor. And we can go ahead and do that for the rest of the floor. So that is the foundation all done, including part of the basement. Of course, we've still got to decorate it, but we'll come back to that later. What we're now going to do is add in some of our pillars for the next layer up. So we're going to start just to the right hand side of our staircase here, and we're going to add a barrel on the corner, leave a gap of 1, and then do the same over here. Then we're going to come around to the back of the build here, and we're going to leave a gap of 3, then a gap of 2, and place 2 barrels this time, then another gap of 2, and then another gap of 3. So you should have this for the back. Then we're going to come around to the right hand side, and we're going to leave a gap of 1 like this. Same again on this side, and then on these 2 blocks, we're going to add in 2 more barrels. Then what you can do on top of all of these barrels, of course you have to crouch to place the first one in, but we're going to have 4 oak logs on every single barrel. You should end up with something like this. Of course, just make sure all of these are the same height. Now we have some more pillars to place down, except these are going to be a little bit taller. So the first 2 are going to go one on this block right here, and the other on this block right here. Do make sure all of your barrels are facing upwards, by the way. So these 2 barrels should be in line, and on top of them we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So twice as high as the other pillars. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we have a few more to place down towards the front of the build. The first barrel is going to go on this block right here, so just after that stair. And the other one is going to go here, 3 blocks away from this barrel. And then we have 2 more to place down here and here, just at the front of the build. And also 1 more here. So I just stand above it so you can see the layout of those barrels. And on top of all of these, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 oak logs this time. At the moment, we should have a bunch of pillars looking like this. So just to recap, all of these are 4 oak logs, these 2 extra long ones are 8 oak logs, and these at the front are 5. Now we do need to add in some horizontal beams going across, so we're going to start on these 2 right here, and from the top block, we're just going to add in a horizontal log. So there's 1 there, there's 5 5 in between those, and 1 more here. And I probably don't need to explain this as we go along, but you're literally just placing in the logs as I am here. So that's what the back looks like. And it gets a little bit more confusing around this side, but we're going to add in 2 on those 2 spots. And then very simply, we're just going to add in 5 going across the middle here on 1 block backwards from those pillars. And then last but not least, we're just going to come back round to this side over here, so where we started, and we're going to add in 3 going across to this pillar. With those horizontal beams added in, we now need to grab some spruce stairs, and on 4 of these corners here, we're going to place down 2 stairs facing outwards like that. So that's one of the corners, the next one is over here, and then the other is over on this spot, and then the last one is right here. So just make sure all the stairs are facing outwards like that. We're now going to swing back round to this side over here, just to the right of our staircase, and starting off with a spruce trapdoor, then going to a slab, we're just going to alternate those 2 all the way across until we get to the other side. Then super quick, we can come round to this small section, and we're just going to do the same, trapdoor, slab, and trapdoor. As for round the back, we're going to do a similar thing, starting off with our trapdoor, then we're going to have a slab, then another trapdoor, then another slab, then another trapdoor, and we're going to stop there. So we can do the same on the other side. We're just going until we have 4 blocks in the middle, where we there want a spruce stair upside down facing inwards on both of the sides, and 2 spruce trapdoors in between. And for the final side round here, on these 2 pillars that are jutting outwards, we just want an upside down stair on either side of them, pointing outwards from the log, just like that. And then next to these outer stairs, we're just going to add in 2 spruce trapdoors. And then lastly, very simply, we just want to add in 1 stair right here. Next up, you want to grab your barrels once again, and we're going to place 2 of them facing upwards on top of these corner stairs. And on top of those barrels, once again, we're going to have 4 oak logs. Yours should not be invisible. And once you've got those placed down, you can do that 3 more times for the other 3 corners. With those pillars in position, we can now come to one of the 2 shorter sides here. So I'm over here by this staircase, and we're going to start by placing down 2 upside down dark oak stairs facing into each other, and then we're just going to have 1 off the back. I apologize, I'm not sure what's going on with my invisible blocks today, but basically what we want to do for our roof outline here is staircase all the way up so that these 2 eventually meet in the middle. So if you just stop there, as you can see, in line with that stair, then we can do the same on the other side, and eventually once we work our way up, we should find that there is 1 block in between them when they're at the same height, just like that. So upside down stair in the center, then we're going to have a regular stair on top facing inwards, upside down stair, and then another stair on top of that one. And then what we can do on the back of this stair, have a dark oak fence with a chain and a lantern underneath. That can now be replicated on the opposite side over. With these 2 added in, we can now come round to the back of the build, and what we're going to do is add in a full block here with a slab underneath it, and then a stair just like this with an upside down one coming off the back. We can go ahead and do the same over on this side too. So full plank, stair, stair, and the slab underneath. Then from the top of this stair, we're going to go across 1, 2, 3, and 4 slabs on both of the sides. And then we're going to have a stair block upside down. And lastly, 4 more slabs in the middle. Coming back round to the front of the build now, as you can see, I've marked these 2 oak pillars with a dark oak stair upside down facing in towards the build. So starting on the left hand side one over here, we're going to place in a regular stair off the back of that one, and then just continuously staircase like we did with those sides over there, all the way until we get to the same height as this stair here. So just like that. Then what we can do is place in a stair here, another one here, and another one here. So it all curves round very nicely. We also want to go ahead and add in a slab underneath that corner stair. We can do a very similar thing around the other side. It's just a little bit of a longer stretch across, but we're going to staircase all the way up until we get to just in front of the log here, and those stairs are the same height. And then we just want to go all the way across like this, and maybe curve this one round, then place the one in the corner, and then the slab underneath. Now you can come around to the very front of the build over here, and we're going to have 2 upside down stairs with 2 regular ones coming off the back. Then we're going to have a full block on top of those stairs with 2 more stairs on top of those facing outwards. And then we're going to do the same again. 2 more upside down stairs, 2 more full planks, and 2 more regular stairs on top with an upside down one in the middle. And then very simply, we just want to connect the stairs up. So on the left hand side, we just do that. And on the right hand side, we bring these across by 3 and connect them up like so. Grab some of your dark oak trapdoors and then come to the front of the build here, and we're going to place 2 down, 1 here and 1 here. So that's 1 on the stair and 1 on the full plank, both of those sides. And then we're going to have a dark oak slab placed on the bottom trapdoor like this. On this top part here, just for now, we're going to have a slab with a dark oak trapdoor. We'll add to that going backwards later on. But for now, we're going to keep the trapdoors in our hand. And the first thing we're going to do is come around to the back of the build, and we're just going to place down 2 trapdoors going into that slab. We can do the same over here on this side and the same over here. And from this point, we're just going to skip a block, place a trapdoor, skip a block, place a trapdoor. Then we'll come around to this side and do the same with the slabs. I'm just going to leave that block as it is. Then we're going to come to the front of the build here, and we're going to have a trapdoor here under that stair and another one over here. And then we're just going to do the whole skip a block, trapdoor all the way around. And then we'll do the last thing over here, which is very simply a single trapdoor on that block. That is the roof outline all done. We're not going to fill it in just yet. We're going to come back to that later. And instead now we're going to work on this bottom section of the house and doing all of the walls. So we're going to start around the back of the build this time. And what we want to do on these 3 wide sections on both of the sides, just place a temporary block here underneath all of these. And then we're just going to bring up these stripped oak logs so that from the outside it looks like this. And then what we can do, remember this is on both of the sides, starting on the outer barrel, we're going to have an upside down spruce stair. And then we're just going to alternate between upside down and regular stair until we get to this point right here. So we kind of have this diagonal line. And of course, if you haven't already, do it over this side too. And you should be at this point now. What we can do next is grab some azalea and flowering azalea leaves, and we're just going to place a flowering one, a regular one, and 2 flowering ones. It doesn't really matter how you place these down, to be honest. It's just to get a little bit of differentiation in the leaves. We're going to be using them elsewhere in the build, so just kind of get a good mix of them both. But we're going to cover the front of them up with some spruce signs, and then what we can do is place down above them 2 upside down spruce stairs facing into each other. And then on the side of the logs here, we're just going to place in some spruce trapdoors like that. And then we're going to open them up so they're pressed up against the side of the log. Then we can just step inside, and we're going to crouch and place down 3 oak trapdoors starting from those spruce stairs on both of the windows. And if we close them all up, should look like this from the inside, and from the outside like this. From the back, we can come round to this side over here, and as you can see, we've already started on this side. We're just going to be covering it up with some spruce fences, but we need to do the same on this 1 wide gap. So once again, well, actually no temporary block needed for this one. We're just going to add in the oak logs like so, and cover them up with the spruce trapdoors. On this wider section, the first thing we're going to do is place down a spruce stair in each of the corners here, just like that. And then we'll have 2 spruce trapdoors on the side, and then 3 along the top and 3 along the bottom, just to get this spherical shape right here, or round shape. Then we can step inside, and we're just going to have 4 logs on either side like that. And then there's going to be 3 stairs in the middle at the bottom and 3 stairs in the middle at the top. And very simply, we just want to fill all of this in with some white stained glass panes. Coming on over to the opposite side now, we're going to do a similar thing to begin with by placing in the oak logs just one block back behind that one wide gap. But instead of having spruce fences on all 4 of those blocks, we're just going to have them on the top 3. And then on the bottom, we're going to place in an upside down spruce stair just to change it up a little bit. Then we're going to step inside this doorway that we're going to make, and on each of the sides we're going to go up by 4 blocks, and then we're going to have an upside down oak stair in the middle with another stripped oak log on the center block, and then we can carefully turn the other way and place in our spruce door, so it's on the back of that block right there. And then we're just going to have 2 upside down stairs next to both of these barrels, and grab some spruce trapdoors, and we're going to have 2 just underneath the spruce stairs, and then clicking on the bottom of this stair we're going to place 1 more and hang a lantern underneath. The last thing we need to do for this little bit is place down 2 flower pots with something to go inside of them. Just to the right hand side on this one wide gap right here, very simply we're just going to have 4 stripped oak logs. But now we can come around to this side over here, and what we're going to do is place a temporary block in, and we're just going to add in 4 of those like that, and then step outside, and we're going to place in 2 oak stairs with our white stained glass pane windows in the middle. And then we can place in 2 spruce stairs on this side, 2 on this side, and we're pretty much just making one of these round windows again. So fill in all of the sides with some spruce trapdoors to give you this. Now we're going to come back round to this side of the build, and what we want to do here is just place in 2 temporary blocks on those 2 spots to start off our oak pillars with these stripped oak logs. And this one is going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Basically when we're in line with this upside down stair. And then we're going to do the same over here, but go up by 2 extra blocks. So we're in line with this one. Then we're going to come back down to the bottom, and facing inwards we want an oak stair, and then we're going to come outwards, place down 2 white stained glass panes with an upside down stair facing outwards. Now we're going to go back in and place a stair facing inwards with 1, 2, and on the 3rd block here we're going to have an oak plank, and in between that 2 oak trapdoors. So from the inside this is how we're looking, but from the outside should look a little bit cleaner like this. What we can do, and you may notice we have this gap here, we're just going to bring the dark oak stairs all the way across to the wall we've just made. So this is a little bit thicker than the rest of the roof outline, but that's okay. So now what we're going to do on this block right here, so just to the side of this oak stair, we're going to have a spruce slab with a spruce trapdoor next to it. We're going to be making another one of our bushes with the azalea leaves next to these blocks here, and this one's actually going to be hanging down a little bit, which is why we've left this block open. So next to the trapdoor, regular leaf, then a flowering, regular, and a flowering, then a flowering one here. Then next to this block we're going to have a regular, and last but not least a flowering. And then what we can do on these 3 blocks, we're just going to turn this into a little bit of a flower pot. So coarse dirt, cover the front up with spruce trapdoors, and place some flowers on the coarse dirt. One last thing that I nearly forgot about, underneath this stair we're going to have a chain with a lantern. On this side here, just above our basement staircase, we're going to do a similar thing as to what we have over on that side, except this time we're actually starting on the stone blocks themselves, and they're going to go up to the same level, just 1 block forward, like that. So this time we don't need the extra dark oak stairs. Now we're going to come down to the bottom here, and we're going to place in a stair facing outwards, go 2 glass panes up, and have another upside down stair facing outwards once again. Step inside and have a stair like that, 2 oak trapdoors with a full oak plank on top. So it basically looks the same as the other side. Super quickly, we're just going to place in a spruce slab here, then a trapdoor, then another slab, and we can also place down 2 trapdoors like that. Now to add in our azalea bush, the first thing we're going to do is have 2 flowering azaleas, then a regular azalea, as well as 1 more down here to the side. And then just in front of this slab, we're going to have a flowering, and then just down diagonally a block, we're going to have a regular azalea, just like that. We can also cover the side of that one up with a trapdoor, and then on top of this flowering azalea block, just place another and flip it upwards so it should be touching that stair. And last but not least, we're just going to add our chain and lantern under the same spot. Facing the front of the house here, we're going to come around to the left hand side once again, and we're going to place a barrel on this block, and then the same amount of oak logs getting us up to this point right here. I think that's 5 in total. Yep, 5. And then we're going to come to this spot, add in a stripped oak log, oak stair, white stained glass pane, upside down oak stair, and another oak log, the stripped version. Then we're going to come around to the other side over here and start off with an oak plank on the bottom, 1, 2, and 3 oak trapdoors, all flipped upwards, and then an upside down oak stair just above them. Over on this gap in the wall, the first thing we're going to do is place down 2 spruce stairs at the bottom and 2 spruce stairs upside down at the top. Then we're just going to step inside and place a temporary block right here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stripped oak logs. So just starting at the barrel and going to the same height as that oak log. And then next to that, on this block right here, as well as 1 or 2 blocks above it, we're going to have 2 oak stairs, and then the same over on this side with 2 oak trapdoors next to both of those logs. So from the outside, it should look like this, another one of our circular windows. Then on this block right here, the stone brick block, we're going to have a coarse dirt, 2 spruce trapdoors either side, azalea bush with a moss block on top, just for a bit of a plant outside the window. And the last part we have to do for this bottom section of the house is the main entrance right here. So the very first thing we're going to do is place down our spruce door on this block right here. So it should be in line with those barrels. Then we're going to grab some stripped oak logs, and on either side we're going to bring those all the way up by 6 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then above the spruce door, we're going to have an upside down oak stair, making sure you're on the inside while you're placing this. And then we're going to skip 2 blocks and we're going to place another oak stair upside down at the top. And these 2 blocks can be filled in with some white stained glass panes. Then we're just going to come down to the bottom here, and we're going to have 2 spruce fences either side of the doorway with a spruce trapdoor on top of them and a slab in the middle. The next thing we need to do is place down 2 spruce trapdoors just like that. So clicking on this slab here, and you should be able to place 2 signs on the back of them just as a bit of a shutter design. We're going to leave this gap open for now and come back to it later when we're doing the roof, because it's made out of the same material, which is cobbled deep slate. But something we can quickly do underneath this dark oak trapdoor is add another chain and lantern. We're now ready to get started on the next portion of the house, which is going to require using a lot of calcite blocks. But just to add in a little bit of texture, we're going to be using some diorite and polished diorite too. Now, I personally am going to go around using calcite only to begin with and add in the texture afterwards, but if you want to do it as you go, feel free to do that. It doesn't really matter either way. But we're going to start on this window right here, so above our staircase, and we're going to have 3 calcite blocks along the bottom, then 3 more on top of them, and 1 across the middle like that. Then we can grab some spruce stairs, and above the trapdoors we're going to have 2 of those. And then next to these trapdoors, next to the calcite 2, we're going to have 2 spruce slabs and a spruce trapdoor in the middle. Then we can have a flower pot at the bottom here, and above that flower pot we're going to have another 2 spruce trapdoors with some signs on the back just like that. We can also fill in these 2 gaps here with grey stained glass panes for our windows. Now of course, once again, add in the texture if you want, or save it and come back to it later. But now we're going to move around to the right hand side here. Got a bit of a bigger area to work with, so we'll split this up a little bit more. But the first thing we're going to do is place down 2 barrels like that, 3 blocks away from either barrel. And on top of both of these, we're going to be placing down 8 oak logs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then in the middle of these 2 logs at the top, we're going to have a dark oak slab, just like that. Then we can grab some dark oak stairs, and 1 block over from this oak log, we're going to place down 1, 2, and then 3, just like that. May honestly be easier to kind of stand up here whilst you do this. So 1, then 2, and then 3. just like that. In the center of these two oak logs, we're going to have a spruce stair right at the bottom. Then we're going to skip one block and place in a spruce fence gate, then skip another block and then skip 2 blocks. So we should have a final one at the top there. Then we can grab some spruce trapdoors, and in the middle of these two spruce fence gates, on the center of these 2 blocks where they meet, here and here, we're going to place in a trapdoor, so it should look like that. Then just across from them on the other side of the log, we're going to do the same thing, and we're also going to add one more on the bottom trapdoor. So we should have a line going across like that. Then we're going to grab some azalea leaves and some flowering azalea leaves, and on the bottom here we're going to have azalea, flowering, 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 azalea, and flowering. So just some more bushes either side, which we can then cover up with spruce signs on every single one of those blocks. Make sure you don't type anything though. Next up, grab your calcite because we're going to be placing in all of the blocks behind them. So we're going to start off by having 3 next to the bushes, then 3 more on top of it, and then we're going to have 1, 2, 3 either side, but leave these 3 open for a window using the grey stained glass panes. 3 more on top, then 2 more, and then 1 more. Basically, you're trying to make it so you can't see through to the inside. Super quick, we can do the same over on this side. Just like that. And as for the middle, we're going to place a calcite block behind that stair and basically just go all the way up. So it should look like this from the outside. Of course, and this will be the last time I mention it, feel free to add in the texture now or save it till later. But the next thing we're going to do is something about these windows here. So just coming to one of the sides here, we're going to have 2 stairs upside down pointing into each other with a trapdoor in between them both. 2 spruce fences either side with 1, 2, and 3 spruce slabs. And then just in the very center here, on top of this trapdoor, we're going to have something inside of a flower pot. And then you can repeat the same over here. So 2 stairs, 1 trapdoor, 4 fences, 3 slabs, and a flower pot. Coming on round to the back of the build now, we're going to grab some more oak logs and barrels, and from this side right here, we're going to go across by 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block, crouching whilst you place it on that trapdoor, we're going to have a barrel, then leave another 4 block gap and place in another. And on top of those barrels, crouching again, we're going to have 4 oak logs. They should be in line with these dark oak stairs. Then we can grab some stripped spruce logs, and from this top oak log, we're just going to have some of those going all the way across, just like that. And next up, we're going to grab our calcite blocks, and super simple for all of these gaps, starting on the bottom, we're going to have 4, then 3 on either side, and 2 across the top, and we're going to fill it in with our grey stained glass panes. So we just have this that you can do 2 more times. You should end up with this, all of the same windows for these 3 gaps. Now we're going to come to the right and the left hand side gap, and we're going to add in 4 spruce stairs on each corner, just like that. And same as we've done quite a few times already in this video, we're going to have the spruce trapdoors on all of the gaps to make that circular shape. Real quickly, we can do the same over here, like so. And quick tip, make sure all of your trapdoors are facing the same way and you don't have something like that. But now we're going to move to the middle window, which is slightly different. We're going to start with 4 coarse dirt along the bottom, covering the front up with spruce trapdoors. On the 2 outer blocks, we're going to have 2 spruce fences. Above them, 2 upside down stairs with 2 slabs in the middle. And on these 2 blocks, we're just going to have some flowers. Over on this side, with the entrance just below it, we're going to start off by placing 2 spruce stairs next to those barrel blocks, and then we're going to place a trapdoor block on top of these outer oak logs. We're then going to grab 2 spruce stairs, and on top of these stairs, we're going to have 2 of them facing outside like that, with an upside down stair in the middle. We can then grab a barrel and stick it on top of that upside down stair with 7 oak logs on top of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, just like that. We can then grab some dark oak stairs, and we're just very simply going to add 4 of those in on each side. So from this oak log all the way up to the one in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just make sure you don't place them like that or anything. You want them to be facing the same direction. On the second block up from this barrel, we're going to have an oak trapdoor just like that, with 1 and 2 either side. Then we can come up and grab some spruce slabs, and on the 1, 2, 3rd block down, we're going to place in a spruce slab on the bottom of that block. So 1, 2, 3 on the bottom half of it. Then we're going to add in 2 spruce trapdoors next to it, with 1 just like that. So that's adding a trapdoor next to the slab, a trapdoor underneath that one, and then another one next to the bottom trapdoor. So we kind of get this thing going all the way across. The next thing to do is to grab our calcite, and all we're going to do here is come to one of the sides, and we're going to add in 4 along the bottom. Then we're going to go up by 1, 2, 3, and 4 on both of the sides. And then we can add in 4 stained glass grey panes, just like that, with 4 across the top. And then we're going to have 3, then 2, and then 1. This can then be copied over to this side as well. Just like that. So from the outside, it should be looking like this. And in front of these windows, we're going to be adding in some shutters, just like I've done on this side. I'll show you how to do it on this side though. So we're going to start off on the trapdoor one, and we're going to crouch and place in 4 more trapdoors and flip them all open. Just leave this one at the bottom shut downwards though. And then we're going to crouch once again, and on the bottom block as well as the top block, on the outside of the trapdoor this is, we're going to place in some spruce signs. Then we're going to do the same over on the flip side, so just place in a temporary block with 1, 2, 3 and 4 spruce trapdoors, flip them all up, and then we're going to add in the 2 signs. The last blocks we have to place for this part of the house are around here on this little gap just beside the lantern, and we're going to place a calcite block at the top with 2 grey stained glass panes underneath it and a polished or regular diorite stair underneath it. We're doing this because I think it's nice to have a stair here instead of a full block, and unfortunately we don't have calcite blocks, but that does mean for now we've placed in all of the calcite blocks, so you can go around and mix in some of the polished diorite as well as some of the regular diorite. And that is all of the walls done. We can now get started on the roof and the additions we have to it. Now the first thing we're going to do is work a little bit more on the outline of it. So the very first part we're going to work on is down here. If you just place yourself around about here, you should be able to reach to the slab, and we're going to place in a trapdoor next to the slab, then another slab, then a trapdoor, another slab, and a trapdoor. And we're going to stop right there. Then we want to make our way up to the top here, and over on the left hand side this is, so looking at the front of the house, come to the left hand side, and from this stair we're going to have 1, 2, 3 and 4 more, and stop right there. Then come over to the right hand side and place in 7 stairs, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Stop right there. You should have this gap in the middle. Now we can start filling some of this in with our roof block, which is cobbled deep slate stairs. So the first part we're going to fill in is this section right here. So if we just come to this part, and from this bottom stair we're going to go across by 1, 2, 3, 4. No, not like that at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. And in front of all of these, we're going to place in some spruce trap doors, but not in front of this one. So the last one should be on top of that oak log. Then we can just repeat that 1, 2, 3, and 4 more times. Like so. So all of these blocks are 7 across, just like that. We do, however, need to break a couple of them, so we're going to come up to this second row and go in by 3 blocks and break those 2 as well as those 2. So we should have this 2 by 2 hole in the middle of this section, where eventually we're going to be building a chimney. Over on this side here, so just on the left hand part of the roof at the front, we're going to start on the bottom stair again and go across 4 blocks this time, and in front of those 3 we're going to have some spruce trapdoors. And then we just want to do the same as what we did for the other side, going all the way up on all of those stairs, except only going across by 4 blocks. Now we're going to move down to this bottom section at the front of the house, still on the left hand side though, and the first thing we're going to do is grab some full cobbled deep slate blocks, and on these two full dark oak planks that you can see, on the bottom one we're going to add 3 cobbled deep slate coming off of it, and on the top one we're going to add 5 cobbled deep slate, so we should have this at the moment. We can then grab some deep slate stairs and we're going to add 1 on the bottom. Then we're going to have 2 and then 3 more, so it curves round to the side. Then we're going to have 2 over here, 1 just above it in front of that spruce trapdoor, and then lastly we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 going all the way across until this trapdoor, and we're going to leave it right there. We're going to do a very similar thing on the flip side here, just a little bit longer. So we're going to start off the same with the 3 full blocks and then the 5 full blocks, just like that. And then we're going to grab some of our stairs. So instead of having just the 1, we're going to have just the 3. And then above that, we're going to have 4 stairs. And then we're going to curve all of these round to the other side, just like that. Then we're going to have 4 stairs, and then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And lastly, we just want 1 more right here. That is all of the cobbled deep slate added in for the front of the house. We're now going to move round to the back. And the very first thing we're going to do, starting from this log all the way across until the final oak log right here, we're going to add in some spruce trapdoors. And then from this stair, all the way across, we're going to add in some cobbled deep slate stairs and do it again the next level up. Just like that. Now we're going to come to the right hand side, and from this stair, and this stair, we're going to go across by 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Over on this side, we're going to go across by 7. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You should see it's in line with the other stairs we've placed out the front. And then the last one up here, just adding them all the way across, just like that. Now there is one more gap we need to get rid of, which is actually over here. And we're going to start on this bottom stair, go in by 1 and break 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then the next row up, the next row up, and finally the last row. So there's a 4x4 hole in this part of the roof, which is going to be a tower. Before we get started on that tower or the chimney or the additional part of the building going in this big old gap, we do need to fill in this small section out the front. So all we're going to do for this is add in 2 full blocks either side, just like that. Upside down stair at the top, regular stair at the bottom, with an oak trapdoor for a window. Grab your brick blocks because it's time to build the chimney. So we're going to come up to this 2x2 hole right here, and we're going to add in 2 full blocks and 2 full blocks like that. Then we're going to add in 2 brick stairs facing forwards and 2 more on top of it, just like so, with 2 full blocks off the back. Then 4 full blocks on top of those, with 4 brick walls on top of the full blocks, and 4 more full blocks on the very top, so we get this shape right here. And the last thing we need to do to make our chimney smoking, we're going to add 4 campfires and surround them all with 8 spruce trapdoors. Just like so. Now we're going to start work on the tower in this section right here. So the 4x4 hole round the back, just behind the chimney. And the first thing we're going to do is place down 4 polished deep slates along the bottom. And then we're going to add 2 more at the top parts right here. On top of these 2 blocks, we're going to have a single wall. And on top of these 2 blocks, we're going to have 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 on both of those. So they all come up to the same level. And on top of all of those walls, we're going to have some full blocks with some more in between all of them to make that square. Now on all of the corner blocks, we're just going to cover those up with 2 spruce trapdoors on the outside of the block, making sure you do that for all 4 of the corners, just like so. Now we're going to grab some stripped spruce logs, and the first ones we're going to place down are on the back of the build, just like that. So at the back of the tower, we're just placing them down right there. Now on the front part, we're going to place 2 here and 2 there. Then we're going to grab some spruce stairs and have 2 upside down and then 2 regular ones just to make this nice window. Super helpful design if you're working with even numbers, which we are here, because you can't really use glass panes or anything like that. Over on this side, we're going to start at the top here with 2 upside down stairs and 2 regular stairs below it, doing the same thing with 1, 2 and 3 strip spruce logs. Really quickly, we can do the same over here. So 2 more stairs upside down with 2 regular ones, and we're going to need to come down to this part right here and place them all underneath the block, just like that. Moving on up to the second half of the tower, we're going to come to the corner blocks once again and place down 4 polished deep slate walls on all 4 of those, just like that. And we can actually go ahead and stick a full block on top of all of them. Now we're going to grab some strip spruce logs and we're going to have 2 of them on all of the bottom on all 4 sides. Then we're going to have our regular stairs all facing into each other. All of these walls are completely the same, so you could even do one at a time. But you kind of see where we're going with this. We're just adding some more of our circular windows, or square windows at this point really, just like that on all 4 sides. And lastly, we're just going to add 2 more logs on top of those. Now we're ready to work on the roof, and the first thing we're going to do is place in a polished deep slate slab on top of all of those full blocks with 2 full blocks on all of the spruce stripped logs. Then we're going to grab 2 polished deep slate stairs on each side and we're going to place them like that. So they should both be pointing into the outer slab, and we're going to do that for all 4 of the sides. So we should have this at the moment. Then we're going to add in 4 blocks in the center, and for the top to the roof, we're going to place in 1 stair, come round to this one, turn 90 degrees and place another, do the same, turning 90 degrees, and once more. They should all curve round to make a nice point to the roof, just like that. Now we can come down and add in a little trim with some dark oak blocks. So the first thing we're going to do is place in 2 of those pointing outwards on each of the corners, just like this. And underneath them, we can actually go ahead and place in a dark oak trapdoor on all of those. Then, next to these logs right here, we're going to add in 2 dark oak slabs on all 4 sides once again. And the final thing to do, on top of the slabs, we're just going to place in 2 trapdoors once again on all of the sides. And there we go, that's our tower done. With the tower and the chimney done, we can now get started on the final bit of exterior work, which is the additional room on top, which is the enchanting room actually. So we're coming to the front of the build here, and we're going to add in 1 barrel there on top of that oak log, and then another one here. So you need a temporary block and then a barrel on top of it. So next to this stair and next to this stair, there should be 5 blocks in between both of those. On top of these barrels, we can add in 6 oak logs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Same again over here. And then we're going to come round to the back here, and we're going to do the same basically, just a little bit higher up. So 2 temporary blocks with a barrel on top of them, just next to the stairs once again. But this time we're just going to add in 1, 2, and 3 logs instead of 6. So these should be at the same level. And now we can do the roof outline. So we're going to start on the top of these oak logs by adding in an upside down dark oak stair with a regular one coming off the back. And just as we did for these sides here, we basically just want to staircase our way up until they eventually meet in the middle like this, where we can then have an upside down stair in the middle. Real quickly, we can do the same on this side, starting on the top log, of course. There we go, and on this upside down stair on both of the sides, we're going to have an dark oak trapdoor, and then we just want to alternate between slabs and trapdoors all the way over until we eventually reach the other side where there should be a slab. Just like that. So that's the front, the back, and the top done. We just now need to do the 2 sides. So we're just going to start on one of these for now, and that's going to be an upside down dark oak stair next to that stair we already have. And then we're going to have a dark oak trapdoor on top as well as in front. So there should be a little bit of change in height between those 2. So one on top and one actually on the front of the stair. We're then going to have a dark oak slab just like that. And then we're going to grab a temporary block and add another one in just round to the side like that. So we're able to place in an upside down stair next to that slab. So we should have this for the moment. And in front of this stair, we're going to have another slab with a trapdoor on top of both of them and one in front of both of them. So this is what we should have on both of the sides for the moment. All we need to do now to finish up is 2 slabs on top of those trapdoors with a stair in the middle. And super quick, you can do it around the other side too. Just a few more dark oak blocks to place in. So starting on the front now, we're going to place in 2 trapdoors next to those bottom upside down stairs with 2 slabs next to those. And then we're going to have 3 trapdoors along the top, just like this. Round the back, we're going to do a very similar thing, but we're going to start once again with the trapdoors. Then we're going to go 2 slabs, then a trapdoor, and then 2 more trapdoors on top of the slabs. Now we can grab some more cobbled deep slate and we're going to fill in the roof. So just come to one of the sides and we're going to place in a stair on top of those oak logs with a full block next to them. And then next to these trapdoors, we're going to have 2 slabs. So just crouch and place it on the trapdoor and then a slab. Then we're going to have a stair next to those 2 slabs with a full block in the middle. Then on the next row across, we're going to start on the back of the stairs by having 2 full blocks, just like that. And then we're going to have 2 stairs facing sideways next to those 2 full blocks. And then from this stair, we're going to face into the roof and just place down 3 of those. So as you can see, it curves that one round to the side. The last thing we need to do is have a stretch of stairs going all the way across from one side to the other on that top layer with a slab to fill in that spot right there. And of course, you can do this on the other side over. Coming round to the back of the build now, we're going to grab our polished deep slate blocks and place 2 of them next to the barrels. And we're going to skip 2 blocks and place another above them like that. Then we can grab our calcite blocks and starting from the bottom polished deep slate, we're going to add 5 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on both of the sides. Then we can step back outside and on top of this block, we're going to add a calcite block in and then 2 more next to them. And then either a regular diorite or polished diorite slab or both like that for a gap in the window. And of course, we just want to mix in a little bit of our regular diorite and polished diorite too. And once you've mixed those in, you can now come round to the front once again. And underneath these 2 blocks, we're going to have some stripped spruce logs and we're going to bring them down all the way to the bottom. So 4 of those on either side. We're then going to have a polished deep slate stair in the middle and 1 upside down at the top with 2 white stained glass panes in the center. And the last thing we need to do over here is in the middle of these 2 blocks, we're going to place in 2 spruce trapdoors either side, just like that. On the opposite side here, around the front of the house, we're going to do a very similar thing, starting off with a full block next to the barrels with a stair on top of it this time. Then we're going to leave 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks, and on the 5th one, we're going to add in a full block, just like that. Then we're going to come round to the inside here, starting on this bottom block, we're going to add in 8 calcite blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, coming up to the same level as over there. Same again on this side too. And then we can do the same as what we did on the other side over there. So 1, 2, 3 calcite, same over here. And then we can have our slabs in the middle. Once again, we're going to grab some stripped spruce logs, and underneath those blocks, we're going to bring them all the way down to the bottom. In fact, we can stop right there since we can't see any lower than that trap door. And then we can do the same over here. Just this one will have to go 1 block down. Now we can go ahead and grab some 4 polished deep slate blocks, and we're going to add 1 of them on the bottom and 1 of them at the top. Then we're going to have a deep slate wall with a stair on top of it. That one regular, this one upside down. So it should be like this. And we can place in a white stained glass pane in the middle. Then we can grab some spruce trapdoors, and on this block and this block, we're going to have 2 of those, as well as up here. So there should be a small gap, and a slightly bigger gap. And then we can do the same over on this side. And the final thing we can do is just grab another chain and lantern, and underneath this trapdoor, that is what we can add in. There we go, the front and the back is all done. We can now get started on the 2 sides, which are identical thankfully, but they are quite detailed. So it's going to be kind of tricky here because it's so kind of cramped and awkward to work in, but I'll go nice and slow and do one step at a time so you guys can easily follow along. So we're going to come round to the back part of the roof here, and on this block right here, hang on, let me just place it down so you guys know where you're placing it. Underneath and behind this stair, we're just going to place in 3 stripped spruce logs like that. Then we're going to go over 2 blocks, and underneath this middle block right here, we're going to place in 4 stripped spruce logs. You're basically just going down until you can't see any further below. But we're going to skip 2 once again, and underneath this stair, we're going to place down 7 this time. Once again, just following the rule of going down until you're level with the stair and can't see anything below it. So there we go, 3 stripped spruce log pillars. Now we're going to come to this longer 1 wide section, and we're going to have a deep slate polished stair at the bottom and an upside down one at the top. Then we're going to do a similar thing with these spruce trapdoors, actually in line with them, which is helpful. And we're going to add 2 there and then 2 at the bottom, just like that. And now we're going to move over to this 1 wide section, which is a little bit smaller. We're going to have a full block at the bottom, a stair on top, and an upside down stair on top of that one. Now we're going to fill in these 2 wide gaps, starting with the smaller one up here. And the first thing we're going to do in line with these stairs is add in 2 full blocks like that. Then just to the side of this cobbled deep slate stair, we're going to add in another full block with an upside down stair pointing into the pillar. So that's what we need to do for the smaller section. For the longer section here, we're going to start at the top next to that slab. We're going to add in a full block, then 2 stairs in front and underneath it, just like that. Then down the bottom, next to these 2 stairs, we're going to add in 2 full blocks with 2 stairs on top of them. So this is what we should have for this area. And all we need to do now is fill in these gaps around the back with some calcite and diorite blocks. So literally all you're doing is making it so you can't see through inside the building. So you should have 2 there, 4 down here, and 4 down here, making it look like this from the outside. But of course, go ahead and mix in a little bit of the deep slate, or not deep slate, sorry, diorite and polished diorite too. Something like that is perfectly fine. And now you can go ahead and copy the exact same thing flipped over to the other side too. And that, everybody, at long last is the exterior of the house all done. We can now come on inside and start work on the interior. So as you can see, it's a little bit of a mess in here, and we're going to be cleaning all of this up 1 floor at a time, starting with the ceiling of the basement, which is going to be made out of spruce slabs and trapdoors. So the first thing we're going to do, starting from this top layer of stone next to the side door, so this one over here, we're just going to have some slabs going all the way across. Then we go across with trapdoors, and you pretty much just repeat that until you get to the other side over here. So you should have this at the moment. There are a couple of tweaks we have to make though on this 3 wide section here, which is actually where the doorway is up here. If I just go up and show you. So this block needs to go. So if we break that, our door is going to pop off, and we're going to replace it with a full plank and place our doorway back down. So it looks nice and neat from the second level up here, but down in the basement, not so much. So all we're going to do is break those 3 blocks and replace them with some upside down stairs. Now you can come up to this floor, and we're going to work on the walls before we do the ceiling. So we're going to grab some barrels and some stripped oak logs and some regular oak logs, and we're going to start on this wall right here with the side door, and we're going to have 4 stripped oak logs in these 2 gaps, just like that. There we go, that wall's done. On this side here with our bushes, we're going to have 4 barrels behind the barrels we already have placed down, and then 3 oak logs on top of all of those, and that is that wall. Then we can come round to this side, and very simply we're just having barrels in between those gaps with the 3 oak logs on top of them, just like that. That wall is now done. We can turn around to this big open section, and the first thing we're going to do on the left hand side here is have a barrel, then a stripped oak log, and then a barrel here, just like that. And then obviously 3 more stripped oak logs and 3 oak logs on top of both of the barrels. Now I'm going to advise you to place a torch or some of the lighting block in that gap right there, just so you don't have to worry about mob spawning. Now we're going to grab our barrels and skip 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block place in a barrel. Then we're going to come into this block, place a stripped oak log and another barrel here. Do the same thing with the torch and the same thing with the logs on top of the blocks we have placed down. There we go. That is that side done for now. Now coming on into this section, we're going to start off with 2 full oak planks above and below this little window here, and then we're also going to stick 2 more on top like that. We're going to come around and place another one here in this gap, and then we're going to have a stripped oak log in that gap, just to neaten out all of the walls a little bit. Next up, we can grab some of our regular oak logs, and on top of these 3 that we have placed down, we're going to add in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 more on both of those. And then from this top log, we're going to have 4 horizontally going across, go down by 4, and leave a gap of 3, and have another line going across. So we should have something like this from this side, and on the other side, we should be looking like this. We do need to do something about this ceiling though, so the first thing we're going to do is grab some spruce trapdoors, and just on the right hand side of the doorway here, up on this spot, we're going to have 3 of them down like that, so in line with this top trapdoor. We're also going to have 3 more over here, and you may actually just want to place in 3 copper deep slate like that. So 3 more there, flop them downwards, and then 3 more over on this side. Next, we can grab some spruce stairs, and from the left hand side here, we're just going to wrap all of these around upside down like so. And on the right hand side, we're going to place 3 in front of those cobble deep slate, with 1 more curved round to the side like that. Then we can grab some spruce trapdoors, and from this top block here, so not on the trapdoor, on the top block, we're going to place in 4 of those coming all the way across. And lastly, we just want to have a final line, and this might be a little bit finicky to place, maybe position yourself on top of this log, but we're just going to have a line of upside down stairs going across, and there we go. That is our ceiling all done. Something else we can quickly do is turn this archway into a slightly rounder archway, so 2 upside down spruce stairs in the top corners, 2 trapdoors along the top, and then 3 trapdoors flipped to the side just like that. And we can do a very similar thing up here in this gap. This is basically here so you're able to quickly jump down from this second level out the doorway. It'll make a little bit sense later on, but we're leaving that completely open, which is intentional. We're just rounding it out with the stairs and the trapdoors though. Now we're going to work on the ceiling to this floor, which is also going to function as the floor to the next level up. So we're going to grab our stripped dark oak logs, starting on this side. We're going to make a little bit of a pattern here. It's pretty simple, but I'll just show you how to do it. So we're going to start by placing in some stripped dark oak logs just like that, 1 block apart from each other. And all we have to do is place the next ones in between them on the side of the block. So as you can see, some are facing forward and some are facing sideways. And then to repeat the pattern, you just place them on the side of the log for the next row across, and then on the side once again. Really, all you have to do for this floor is always place it on the side of the log, never on the front. So when you're all done and your entire floor is filled out, you should have this crisscross checkerboard pattern made out of the dark oak logs. Also, don't worry too much about filling in these 2 holes. We've already got the torch down there, and we're going to be covering up the front. Same with over there and all of these other open gaps, so just leave it be. Just fill in the main floor. So now what we're going to do is punch out a hole for our staircase. So we need to grab some spruce stairs and some stripped dark oak wood blocks. So this is the one with the texture on all 6 sides. Why we're going to be using that will make sense very shortly, but we're just going to come to this back left corner. So facing here, turn around, come to the back left corner, and we're going to break these 2 blocks and then 8 more. So 2, 4, 6, and 8. So those 10 blocks are now gone. As you can see, we have the front of the logs here, which I don't think look particularly nice, and that is when these blocks come in handy. So when you place these down, just make sure you're placing them as the same way. So in theory, if you were to place one of these down, you would have the front face, but you don't have that. Just make sure you're kind of maintaining the checkerboard pattern. Same with this one, and then same with these 2 over here. And this is a nice little gap for our staircase. So we're going to start that with our spruce stairs just across from the azalea bushes here. And we're just going to place some upside down ones on the back of all of these and do that until we eventually reach up to the top, which will be there in any second. Last 4 and the last 2 right there. So start at the azalea bushes and end up right next to the wall. So as I mentioned, this hole is here for a means of convenience, and it's literally just so you can hop down to the front door from that second level without having to take the stairs. I know it's a little bit lazy, but I think having nice little shortcuts like that in your base will save you a lot of time over time. But now we can grab some spruce logs, and we're going to start over on this side right here. So on these 2 gaps, we're just going to have 4 of those going up to the same height as the diorite and calcite blocks. Over here on this side with the 1 gap, we're just going to add in 5 of those logs this time. And over here where we have the 2 gaps, we're going to add in 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on both of those, just like that. Then on the side over here, starting on the left hand side, we're going to place in 4 of those. Then we're going to skip a block and place in 4 again. Then we're going to come to the other log here and do the same thing, miss a block and do it once more. So we should have that at the moment. We do also need to add in 4 more just here in this little corner. Now we do need to have to fill in these 2 gaps here. We're not going to fill in this spot because, well, it's got a nice little window. We can utilize that somehow, but this, not so much. So all we're going to do is just mix in some of our calcite and diorite blocks super simply like that. Go ahead and grab some polished deep slate full blocks and stairs, and starting over on this side here where we have these 2 6-high pillars, from this middle block we're going to have a line of full blocks going all the way across, just like that. Now what we need to do is grab some polished deep slate stairs, and on both of the sides we're just going to place some stairs pointing into the block. Now you need to do this all the way across. I'm not going to because it's quite finicky and will take a bit of time without speeding up, but you want to do that on both of the sides going all the way across, not just stopping at 5 blocks like I have there. On the back of those stairs, we're going to add some more stairs just like that. So once again, making sure they're upside down. And then what we're going to do is have some stairs pointing into those stairs on the next block along. So just like this, of course, going all the way over, not stopping. And then 1 block down and over, so starting here, we're just going to add in some more stairs, making sure they're all facing forwards on both of the sides, just like that. And also on this corner block right here, we're just going to add in 1 more down an extra block. So you should end up with something that looks like this. And now what we can do on the opposite side to the staircase over in this corner is break this stair right here. So in the very corner block, break that one. Grab some full polished deep slate and place 1 here and 1 up there, just like that. Then we can grab some ladders just to the left of this window and place down 8 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, going up, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Should be the last one you can place because you can't place one on the stair there. Now we can grab some mangrove planks and we're going to place 3 of them like that just for now. And actually we'll go ahead and place in 2 more. But now what we can do is grab some stripped spruce logs and we're going to have 2 here just next to the ladder. And we're going to remove this one and replace it with a stripped wooden block. So the one with the same texture on all 6 sides like we used down there with the dark oak. Now what we can do is grab our ladders once again and we're going to place down 5 on those blocks right there. Then we can climb up to the top of the ladder here. and we're going to place in some polished deep slate. So starting on the top of these blocks right here, we're going to place in 3 of those slabs and then 3 more slabs on top once again. So now this is in the little lookout area. We got a pretty good view up here. We can also look up and grab some polished deep slate stairs, and similar to how we did the top of the tower, if you can remember, but upside down this time. So we're going to place 1 stair, turn around 90 degrees, place another, turn another 90, place another, and lastly they should all curl around and connect like that. Super quickly for this clip to end off here, we're just going to place in a full block right here of polished deep slate, and then we want to place in a spruce door just like this, I believe. Yeah, so it's flat with the deep slate so you can't actually see it. Now, I'd recommend leaving this open just so it's completely covering the deep slate, as without it, it looks a little bit weird. So just keep the door closed, or open, I should say, actually. As you can see, it is a right old mess up here. We're going to be smoothing all of this out, making it look a lot neater, but we're going to do it one step at a time just so it's nice and easy to follow along with. And we're going to start off by doing the floor this time, which is out of the mangrove wood. So in front of this door, we're going to place down 3 more planks with 3 more just to the back of it. And then we're going to come forward by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 blocks. And we're just going to make that a 3 wide corridor. And then what we can do is place in 1 block here in the middle with 2 either side of it, just like that. And then we're going to bring that out by 2 more blocks. So it should look like this for the moment. If I just take a step back so you guys can make sure everything is correct so far. And then from the front of these 4 blocks, we're going to add in some mangrove stairs. And then 1, 2, and 3 full blocks 3 times. So it should be like this. And lastly, all we're going to do in line with these 3 blocks here, so continuing down the middle in line with that log, we're just going to have another 3 by 3 square of mangrove wood. Now we can do the walls, and these are going to be a little bit finicky just because it's so messy at the moment, but I'll make sure I go nice and slow so you guys can follow along. So we're going to start over here on this lower section, and just when we have these stripped spruce logs, we're going to come in by a block and place down from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we may have to just place in a temporary block like that so you get it to come down to the mangrove logs. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. So maybe let's start from the bottom this time and work our way up to the top. There we go. Now we can just fill in these 2 gaps here with some calcite or diorite blocks, whatever you would like really. And then what we're going to do is just grab in a cobbled deep slate and fill in that block right there, as well as this one over here. And then underneath those, we're going to have some more stripped spruce logs, once again with those temporary blocks at the bottom, and same again over on this side. And then we can go ahead and fill in these 3 blocks here with a mixture of our calcite and diorite, however you see fit. Just something like that is absolutely fine. Now we can go ahead and grab some spruce stairs, and from this log we're going to go across by 3, just like that. And where we have the logs, we're going to have 2 more in front, and then just fill in those like we've been doing with the calcite and diorite. Turning around to this side over here, we're going to start by having the stripped spruce logs all the way down to the floor, and then we just want to add in a calcite diorite block under there, and then 2 more here with a stair of the diorite or calcite or whatever. We need a stair here, and then lastly we're just going to have 2 more blocks like that. So there we go, that is all of the walls all done. For this part of the floor, that is, there's still the unfinished area here, which is actually going to be the enchanting room, so we're just going to leave it like that for now and come back to it later. But our corridor here certainly needs fixing up. So the first thing we're going to do on the left hand side here, starting from this polished deep slate block, we're going to have 3 more across. And from this diorite or calcite block over on the right hand side, we're just going to have 6 of them going all the way across. And then on these 4 blocks right here, we just want to have some calcite and diorite blocks. Something like that is all good. And then we can grab some spruce stairs. And on these blocks right here, we just want to place all of those upside down. Of course, leave this open where we have our doorway. And we're going to do the same on the other side. This is probably just about as cramped and cozy as you can get in this house, so apologies for the very small room, but it's the only way you could really get up to here and actually have it look nice. So above these stairs, so not actually on the stair blocks, but on the blocks above them, we're just going to place in some spruce trapdoors, and then lastly, just want to place in one more here down by a little bit. Now on Java Edition you can walk through here no problem, but I know Bedrock can be a little bit different sometimes, so if you can't walk through that on Bedrock, I don't know what to tell you. You're probably just going to have to leave it open like that, but hopefully you should be able to place that block down no problem. The last thing we need to do up here on this level for now is complete the ceiling. So we're going to line all of these blocks here with some upside down polished deep slate stairs on both of the sides, and then we're just going to fill in the middle section here with some full blocks. Now we're going to grab some chains and lanterns and just go around placing a few light sources down so we don't get any mob spawning. So in the middle of the ceiling here, which is marked by those spruce logs, we're going to have 2 chains and then a lantern. That should light up this room nicely. Now we're just going to leave out of this door and go up the stairs here, and we're just going to have a chain and a lantern right there in the lookout point. Lastly, we're just going to place down a couple of torches hidden away behind the walls here because there are a few spawning spots, very unlikely but still possible. So we're going to break this block here just in front of the stairs and just place a torch down right there, or any block, just to light it up a little bit, and we're going to do the same over here. That should cover most of the area there, but we're also going to go ahead and just place one either side of where our enchanting setup is going to be. Spiders can spawn in a lower area. They don't need 2 blocks all the time, so that kind of accounts for that problem. And then also we're just going to break 2 of the blocks here on the floor where we have this mangrove wood in the corridor, place down 2 torches and cover it back up. Now that we have all of the floors neatened up, we can start the furnishing. And we're going to start on this top level up here and work our way down. I think the first thing we should sort out is the enchanting table, because this still looks like a mess and we can make it look a whole lot better. So the first thing we're going to do is actually maybe grab another torch and place it down there just to be safe. But then we're going to have 6 bookshelves here along the back. Then we can grab 2 spruce stairs, and either side of these top corner bookshelves we're going to have 2 of those. And then on the back of this stair, we're going to have 2 spruce trapdoors. Make sure it's on the back of the stair and not where the bookshelf is, otherwise it's going to block that one, and it's pretty important that you don't. We're then going to have another bookshelf here in each of the corners, and then we're going to have 2 more on both of the sides, and actually break these 2 blocks and have 2 more. And then lastly, we're going to have 2 more just out the front here, and we want to cover these up with some spruce trapdoors just like that. We can go ahead and place a double chest on top of both of those bookshelves for some storage of lapis or books or tools, whatever you would like. And of course, we need our 30 level enchanting table in the center. And just to prove to you that it is in fact 30 levels, well, there you go. On this lowered section of the room, we're going to place in our grindstone with a smithing table and cartography table either side of it. Then on the top of these 2 blocks here, we can have a spruce trapdoor as a shelf with a chest on top of it. And then on the top of this wall block right here, we're going to place in another trapdoor with an ender chest on top of that one. Then over here in this corner, we can either have 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 anvils. 5 maybe is a bit overkill, but I think 3 is pretty good, because then when this one breaks, a new one is just automatically replenished. But you can just have 1 if you would like. 3, it's not really needed. Now what we can do is place in a couple of paintings. So we're just going to grab some temporary blocks, and over on the right hand side here, we're going to place a temp block there, and we're just going to place in a 2 wide painting. We're going to have a bit of a bigger one on this side. So in line with this side of the painting, we're going to place a temp block here and a temp block there. And then you can click on this spot and you should get that super big painting, the one that is 2x4 blocks. Now we can move on into the corridor, and at the back of the corridor here, we can have a loom with a single chest either side of it. And then just for a little bit more storage, you can place in a couple of chests here. You can even place in some more if you would like to, but I'm just going to leave it as those 2 double ones. And lastly, all we need to do for this level up here before we're done done is just in front of this ladder, we're going to have a spruce fence with a lantern on top. Now we can come on down to this level where the first thing we're going to work on is actually a fireplace, which is going to go just over here in this corner, so to the right of the ladder there. So just break this block and place in a campfire. Don't worry, it's not going to burn anything down. Don't place an actual fire block there, or that will. Campfire, absolutely fine. You can place as many of these as you want, but just the one is fine. So either side of that, we're going to have some brick walls with 2 brick stairs facing outwards like that. Now we're going to go ahead and get rid of this block, as well as the one in front and to the side of it. Then on these 2 blocks, we're going to have some full blocks and one more full block up there. Then we can have a stair here, a full block here, and a stair here, and then a full block there. Just like that. Fireplace done. We're now going to build our bed, which is going just to the left of this fireplace. So the first thing we're going to do is place down our bed right here in the middle. Of course, it can be any color. And then temporarily, we're going to break this block and hop on down, where next to the 2 logs here, we're going to place in 2 upside down barrels. So when you're placing it, just aim for the very corner of that log. And you can go ahead and replace that block right there, where on top of it, we're going to have a stripped spruce log. And in front of the barrels, we're going to have 2 stairs. Then we're going to have 2 trapdoors. And on top of the upside down barrels, we're going to have 2 spruce fences, trapdoors on top, and then a spruce slab in the middle. Super quickly, we can actually place 2 item frames on the side of the barrel blocks, and then we're going to place a button not inside of the item frame, but actually on the barrel block instead. So we get that full button there poking through the item frame. Then above the bed, we're going to place in 2 temporary blocks right there, and then place in a painting. And just below that in this spot, we're going to have a flower pot with something inside. And just over to the right hand side here, we're going to place in 4 looms on these spots right here. Now, when you place them down, you want to do it just as I have there and place them in backwards. So not forwards, you don't want this texture, you want the back texture on show. They kind of look like drawers if you ask me. So that's what we're building right now, a little set of drawers. Either side of it, we're going to place in some spruce trapdoors and just decorate the top a little bit with an amethyst bud on the block itself and then a few candles. Of course, if you don't have these on hand for decorative items, just use something else. A flower pot, a skull if you've got that of some kind, a lantern, that sort of thing. Anything you can put on display is absolutely fine. Now we're just going to grab some cyan carpet and make a little bit of a rug just to fill in the center of the room here because it felt a little bit open. So starting from this bed, we're going to skip a block and place in 4 carpets just like that. Then over to the right, 1 block down, we're going to place in 4 more. Then we're going to place in 1 carpet over here, another one here, and another one here. So we get a little rug shape like this. Now we're going to place down a couple of lanterns. So on this middle row of 4 blocks, in line with the 2 logs here we have on this side, we're going to place in 2 chains with 2 lanterns just like that. That will nicely light up this floor. You're not going to have to worry about mob spawning of any kind. Now we can grab some spruce fences, and starting from this block here, we're going to go across 4, and then we're going to place in 4 more. This is just to add a small railing. Of course, if you'd rather have the means of convenience just being able to go straight through and fall down, that's up to you, but we do have this option for that, so I like the railing. I think it looks pretty good. We're going to have a flower pot here on the corner though, and then 2 on the outer blocks like that. Which you're not going to be putting any flowers inside of, by the way. They're not decorative flower pots, they're just to make the railing look a little bit more interesting, so pretend it's not even a flower pot at all. But now we're going to move over to this spot, and just beside this fence here, we're going to have an oak stair with an oak sign on the front, and then an oak fence and an oak pressure plate just to make a little bit of a table and chair. And then beside this table and chair, we're going to have 2 bookshelves, then 3 bookshelves, then 1 bookshelf. And on top of all of these bookshelves, we're going to place in a flower pot. And these you can actually place some flowers inside of them. I'm going to do all tulips for this one, I think. Over here behind the staircase railing, we're going to add a crafting table in the center with a double chest either side of it. Just like that. Then on this block right here, we're going to stick a barrel with a chest on top and a chest to the side, just for even more storage really, and to fill in an open gap. Lastly, all we're going to do for now is place a temporary block here and one up here, and then we're just going to place in a painting. The final thing we need to do for this floor is make our brewing setup, which is going to go just over here. So we're going to start off with a chest, maybe to store all of your water bottles inside of perhaps, and either side we're going to have a spruce trapdoor for a shelf with a brewing stand on top of it. Then we're going to have one more in the middle, brewing stand once again, and two more trapdoors with two more brewing stands. So that probably is more than enough brewing stands for the average player. I personally only use one at a time really, but it's good to have more than less. Now we're going to make a little bit of an infinite water source, but we're not going to use a cauldron because those are annoying and you constantly have to refill them. So instead we're going to make use of this little nook here with our window. So we're going to break this block as well as these two either side of it, and then we're going to place in two stairs facing into each other there with one in the center. Then you can go ahead and carefully waterlog those two outer stairs, and you'll be able to infinitely refill your water buckets or bottles in this middle stair. You can also go ahead and place in a spruce trapdoor there and cover it up if you would like to, or just leave it open. It's kind of up to you. So that is this floor all done. We're ready now to hop down a level, but before we do, we're going to actually stay up here just so we can reach pretty easily, and we're going to place a chain here on that third trapdoor along, another chain underneath. Now we can hop down and place in our lantern hanging down from below. We're also going to place one more lantern in right here in this corner. There's going to be another one in the center, but we'll do that in a second. What we do need to do is sort out a staircase leading down to the basement, because we don't want to have to go outside every time to go down there. So we're going to break these three trapdoor blocks just like that. And then we're going to cover these two blocks up like this. And then we're going to place in a temporary block right here and just stick a trapdoor on the front of it. So we got a railing, so we're not going to fall down without going through this one, which is where the staircase is going to start. So it's going to be best if we break this trapdoor to begin with underneath that barrel and place it in upside down, and then just sort of staircase our way down this way, going all the way down to the bottom until we get to not that point, but this point right here, and this stair is actually going to be facing into the wall. It's just a little bit easier to climb up that way. So this floor is our storage room, and all we're really going to be placing down is a whole bunch of chests for lots and lots of storage. And the first room we're going to work on is this larger section, and we'll move around to here afterwards. So the first thing we're going to do is place in two double chests there just behind those azalea bushes. Then to the right hand side we're going to place in 6 double chests like that, and 3 more in front of them. So 6 double chests in total for that area. Then just to the right hand side here, we're going to place in 3 more double chests and then 3 more double chests right there. Now we're going to come over to this area, and there's actually a slight issue. I made a mistake here with the walls. We're just going to break these stripped oak logs and we're going to move them back. So you can go ahead and get rid of this torch, and we're going to pillar up 1, 2, 3 and 4 blocks, and maybe just place the torch there. You're not going to be able to do this, but I'm just going to phase through the wall there, and in replace of it, I'm going to stick our double chest like that. Then we're going to have 3 more over here, and the last chest we need to place down, nearly actually, there's a little bit more after, but we're going to have some understair storage, so we're going to have 3 there, then we're going to have 2 there. These are quite finicky to place. You might actually have to break some blocks here for this final one, but then we're just going to have a single double chest. So there we go, some understair storage. Now we're just going to place in a little bit of a crafting station in the center. So from this barrel right here, we're going to count in 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th block, place our crafting table with a lantern on top of it. Then on all 4 sides, we're going to have ourselves a single chest, and on all of the corners, we're going to place in a barrel. Just like that. Fills in the room nicely because we did have a bit of an open gap in the middle. Now what we can do just over here is place in a stone cutter by our window. These are always helpful to have on hand, especially in your storage area. So we're just going to cover the sides up with spruce trapdoors, make it look a little bit better, and hopefully that should be well positioned for your needs. That is this portion of the floor all done. We can now move through the archway here to this area, and we're going to start off with 2 double chests stacked on top of each other. Then from this glass pane and this oak log, we're going to place in 2 spruce trapdoors with another double chest on top. Then we can come around to this spot over here, just to the left of the doorway, and we're going to have ourselves 4 double chests. You can even do 5 if you would like to, actually. That might be a little bit better because the chests over on this side do end up going 5 high. So the first one is on the floor, then we're going to have 2 spruce trapdoors with another chest, and then 2 more trapdoors with 2 more chests. So there we go. Those are now the same height. Might look a little bit better that way. And you can still pretty easily reach them all. The last thing we need to do for this section of the room, and the last chest we need to place down in total for this floor actually, is an ender chest in fact. So the ender chest is going in line with that oak stair, and we're just going to stick a trapdoor underneath it. The bonus with this ender chest is you can reach it from the bottom floor or this floor up here. This hole is coming in handy once again. But the last thing I want to quickly mention is in regards to labeling these storage chests. Usually in storage rooms you have them all fairly clumped close together and very well organized, not kind of sprayed all over the room here like I have. But not only do I think this is more aesthetically pleasing, but you can also kind of group your items a little bit better. So maybe over here could be all of your wood, you can have your tools in here, valuables in these 4 chests, you get the idea. But when it comes to actually labeling them, you can actually place an item frame next to or on every single one of these chests, and it shouldn't ruin the look too much. I personally am not going to be doing it, but you should be able to figure out where you could possibly place them all. So this floor is now completed. We're going to head down to the final level, which is our basement, where we're going to be building a super smelter and a couple of other things. But first things first, we're just going to barricade off this staircase. We don't want any mobs wandering down here from the outside and into here and potentially blowing up or shooting you with an arrow, something like that. Never good, so just block it off with some fence and fence gates. Now we're going to come to this corner right here, and going inwards we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and on this 9th block here you can place in a torch. It should be in line with that far right iron bar and in line with that block there. So what we can do is cover the sides up with some spruce trapdoors, just like that. Then we're going to stand in here and break the block above us, which should, in theory, be the crafting table. Not that that's needed, it's just so you got a good idea of positioning. And then underneath that crafting table, we're going to place in 4 strip spruce logs. And all we need to do now is just place in 4 signs on the bottom log right there, and then 4 more 2 blocks up, just like that, for a pillar to potentially hold up the floor a little bit. Okay, with that done, we can now make a start on our super smelter, which is going to be going along this back wall here and also turning round to this wall. And it's going to start here actually. So the first thing we need to do next to these blocks is place a double chest just like that. And then we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 hoppers just like so. Now when you place all these, you want to make sure you're actually placing them on the hopper, not on the floor. Otherwise it's not going to work. So just make sure you're crouching and clicking into the hopper that's in front of it. And then from this hopper, we're going to go back by 11 more hoppers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. There should be a 1 block gap at the end here. What we can then do is on this corner block, place a polished andesite, and on the rest of the hoppers, we're just going to place down some furnaces. Should be 16 in total. Then on the back of all of these furnaces, we're going to place some more hoppers down. Super smelters cost quite a lot of hoppers, so if you don't want to do this, I would understand. But the hoppers, of course, make sure you're actually clicking on the furnaces when you place them all. Now you don't need to do them on these blocks, we'll come back to that in a second, but just on the back of all of the furnaces for now, like so. And then we're also going to have a line of hoppers along the top of the furnaces, making sure you're clicking into the top of the block, just like that. We're then going to have 3 polished andesite round the back here, and then 1 more in the middle, just like that. Now I need to crouch my way down and get out of here. Behind this chest, we're going to have 4 polished andesite like that, and 2 andesite slabs polished on top in line with the hoppers. Then we can do a similar thing over here, 2 polished andesite and a single slab. Go ahead and grab a couple of barrels and place one of them over here at the end of this hopper chain with a lantern on top of it, and then the other one is going here in this corner between the 2 hoppers. And then every other hopper that's on show, we can just go ahead and cover the front of them up with a spruce trapdoor. Just looks a little bit neater that way, in my opinion. So now it's time to place down the rails, which can be a little bit finicky, kind of depending on how you've built the house and in what direction. So just to play it safe, the first thing we're going to do is break this block. Then we're going to run all the way along here to the other side. If you're on bedrock, you're not going to be able to crouch underneath these blocks, so it may actually be worth just kind of carving yourself a little tunnel. But we're going to break this block too. We'll replace them afterwards, but that's what we're doing for now. So starting on this side, we're just going to place in a temporary powered rail block, and then we're just going to continue these powered rail blocks all the way until we get to the corner here, where we're going to have a regular rail. Then another line of powered rails until we get to this first andesite slab, where we're going to have a regular rail, then a powered rail, and another temporary powered rail. Now we're going to leave these 2 temp blocks as they are while we place in the rails behind them, because this is where it could potentially get a little bit finicky and the rails might link up where they're not meant to be. But hopefully you should be all good if you're doing it the same way I am. So starting with a powered rail, then a regular rail, and then just another line of powered rails, and hopefully you should be smooth sailing for now. Rail there, and then another line of powered rails. If your rails start linking up to the 2 lines here where they shouldn't be, just have a little bit of a play around at the end here, do some extensions like I've done, and hopefully you should be able to resolve it. Rails are tricky, but you should be fine if you followed what I've done here. So now we can get rid of this temporary rail and replace the block back down. We can also go ahead and stick a lever on that block and close the trapdoor back up again. And then coming along to here, at the end of these powered rails, we're going to have a lever here and a lever here. So that is 2 blocks away from the corner. And that should nicely power all of the rail lines that we need to. And then lastly, we just want to break this rail, replace the block back down, hop down here and place in 2 levers on those 2 spots. So when we have our minecart chests in position, we can go ahead and power them, send them on round, and turn them off to stop them back at the start here. So there we go, that is our super smelter all done. And the way it works, in case you don't know, the item that you want to be smelted inside of the furnace goes inside the top chest, and your fuel goes in the back chest here. It would be a good idea just to send the fuel minecart round to begin with to get a little bit of fuel inside all of the furnaces before sending them both. But when you've got your smeltable item in here, send it on round, it'll smelt up all the items and they will end up in this chest here. Do bear in mind though, because this is a 16 furnace array, if you want to maximize on fuel efficiency, it's best to work in multiples of 16. So as long as you round to the nearest stack and send them on their way, you'll be able to get the most out of your fuel. Now we're going to build a couple of smaller smelters for the blast furnace and smoker. This is just in case you have some bulk items that you want to smelt, which would go faster in a blast furnace or a smoker, ores or food. So the first thing we're going to do is break these 4 blocks right here. So 1 block away from the corner, and then we're going to break these back blocks here and just replace them with stone bricks, or any stone is fine. And then do the same with the floor, but with deep slate, just like that. We're going to stick a double chest in both of those holes with 2 hoppers going into the top of them, and then we can stick our blast furnaces here and our smokers here. We're going to place in 2 hoppers on the side of these furnaces as well as 2 into the top, so we should have this. And then on the side hoppers, we're going to place in a barrel on top of all of those, just like that. And then we're going to have 2 double chests on the top. So we'll have a double chest here and a double chest just like that on both of these furnaces. Over here in this spot is where we're going to be placing some backup armor. So we're just going to have a smooth stone slab in the middle there with 2 barrels either side and a chest on top just for some storage, rockets, food, that sort of thing. All things you could need in a hurry, possibly. And then we're just going to stick our armor on top of the armor stand. So just place all of that down and then we are done for this little area. We do also need a little bit more lighting in this spot, so we're going to stick a chain underneath that top stair with a lantern underneath. The final few things we need to do now, over here we're just going to place 2 temporary blocks and get ourselves a 2-high painting. And then the final thing we can do here is option 1, just have another painting, possibly even one more on top there. Or what you could do is get rid of this painting here, keep the small painting at the top and break these 3 blocks. Replace this one with an upside down stair and then basically dig this down to wherever you want. If you're short on ideas, this is a great spot for another portal. They're useful in survival, but my goodness are they noisy. So it's a good idea to stick them far down below under your base. So you could do that to another portal, a mine shaft, or just possible expansion. Obviously you'd need to replace the walls with some stone variants here and stick a ladder, but you get the idea. Just gives you the possible option for expansion or leading it elsewhere, something that is loud and noisy and gets really annoying if you have it close by, like another portal. So there we go everybody, at long last we are finally done with the build here. My goodness, this has taken a long time for me to make, let alone you guys doing it in survival. Let me know in the comments how you got along with this build, and even if you're making it right here to the end of the video, if you have, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. This is by far the longest tutorial I've ever made on my channel, and it's even top 3 longest videos of all time for me too, so quite an undertaking this has been, but I really hope you've enjoyed. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.